The word paradise means different things to different people. To some people it means being in an exotic locale surrounded by exotic animals. To a certain number of people with a gambling addiction, it could also mean this. Little pun to get your day started there. When we return, we're going to take a closer look at Roberto Cavalli's Paradise Found. That and more, so stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and today we're going to be taking a close look at Roberto Cavalli's new release, Paradise Found. Let's check out that presentation. Robert Cavalli's Paradise Found. Now you can't really see it here, but with the light behind it, this is a dark green, as no doubt the graphic at the bottom left of the screen is actually showing you right now. It's a beautiful green. As you guys well know, green, emerald green, forest green, whatever variation of the color green is my favorite color, and I really like this presentation. There's not a lot more to it than that. It looks like a green emerald, which is I'm sure what it was intended to look like, with a Robert Cavalli. And then of course, on the very top of the bottle, you've got the Robert Cavalli logo and abbreviation for the name. Now, this is a 75 ml bottle, which is what it comes in. Doesn't actually come in 100 ml, and it is an eau de toilette concentration. Paradise Found was created by master perfumer Jean-Christophe Herault. You might remember who created Wanted Girl by Azzaro. Also created a very good Azzaro fragrance, a very solid summer performer, and that is Azzaro Chrome Aqua. So I'm really curious to see, this is intended to be a very woody, aromatic fragrance. Let's take a look at that note breakdown. Paradise Found features top notes of pimento berry, also known as Jamaican pepper and allspice, and green notes, with heart notes of clary sage, patchouli, and cashmere, resting on a base of ambergris. So again, falling under that modern category that perfumers are actually promoting more now in modern fragrances, that less is more. It's a very simplistic yet elegant scent profile. A little bit more about the presentation. The bottle is very heavy, it's very thick glass. You can see on the bottom. And again, I think it's intended to look like a green amethyst or a green emerald, which is cool. I do like that idea there. The lid itself is just kind of cheap feeling. It's made of plastic. At the bottom of the atomizer, where the lid rests on, is kind of an interesting, I don't even know what to call that design. It almost reminds me of barbed wire or something like that. I don't know if that's supposed to be counterculture, nod, or what. There's no thought behind the design choice, but kind of an interesting look. I do like it. It almost looks mismatched though from the perfection of the line. So that kind of takes a little bit away from the reflective surface on the top of the bottle, but it's not a huge deal. But again, let's check out this juice. So the marketing materials show a guy leaning against a bamboo fence. He's just wearing a really nice, kind of like a faux leather looking shirt. But the entire Paradise Found line of clothing is just that. It's like it's kind of like a jungle oriented. So I wonder if this is going to kind of follow suit and be like kind of an aquatic green fragrance. But there's no aquatics in here. There's no ozone. Now cashmere as a note is an aroma chemical that's found in a lot of modern men's fragrances these days, similar to ambroxan, which is a aroma chemical version of ambergris. And while this states that it's got ambergris in the base, I'm betting it's going to be ambroxan or ambroxide. So, very nice, very nice. One of the things that always impresses me is how a fragrance can actually represent a color. Like a smell can represent a color so well. And they always, not always, but for the most part, perfumers seem to capture the essence of a color in a fragrance, and that is no less true for Paradise Found. This has green associations with it. It's got very green notes. It is lightly vegetal without going into vegetal. It's lightly herbal without going into being herbaceous. It's kind of like a fringe fragrance in terms of going deep into something. So you can't really categorize it as medicinal or herbal or vegetal, but it's kind of more of a modern spin or mix of those three, which makes it actually a lot more versatile, I think. Now that's just my first impressions off of a tester strip. Man, there's something lightly sweet about this too, without actually crossing into the territory of sweet fragrance. And that's kind of why I call it a fringe fragrance. It takes it right up to the edge without actually going over. That's a lot of impressions to come up with off of a tester strip, so that impresses me. I'm going to now try it out on skin, which is the true tell. Give that just a moment to dry down. There's definitely a very, very nice woody green to this, and there's not a lot of woody notes listed. Now, I doubt very seriously that the notes that are promoted that are actually in this are all that's in this. I'm sensing a sweetness here that's not really from any of the notes that are listed. Like allspice, clary sage, those aren't really sweet fragrances. They're more to carry the fragrance very similar to ginger, so it gives it some projection, it gives it some sillage. We've got patchouli, cashmere, and then a singular base of ambroxan or ambergris. Cashmere is a warm, lightly nutty aroma chemical that also kind of a woody dry feel, similar to maybe patchouli or vetiver, with a little bit richer, deeper sensibility about it. Cashmere is adding a level of elegance and sophistication to this fragrance that allows it to be used in upscale environments. I think it's a solid fragrance. In terms of the smell, it's fairly unique, and that's a combination of those green notes mixing with the cashmere and a little bit of the ambroxan. Sillage, or your projection, is going to come from. You've got that pimento, which is similar to a pepper. It is a pepper. It is a spice. So pimento, clary sage. So if you're not a fan of super sweet fragrances, you might really like this. There's not a lot of sweetness to this. There's just a hint of it in the open as kind of an introductory representation of the fragrance, but it's not overly sweet at all. It's done really, really well. Down into the base, that sweetness moves into the area of a very green, lightly terpenic, lightly astringent fragrance that is also super versatile. I can see actually wearing this fragrance with a suit and tie into a formal event, as well as being able to wear it casually. So I like the fact that it's going to be very versatile. Another fragrance that this perfumer created, Azzaro Chrome Aqua, is actually wearable in the cool weather in wintertime. There are some other fragrances that have like essential oils that are also give kind of a cool effect, are also wearable in wintertime. Doesn't mean you can't wear a spring and summer fragrance in winter, but primarily that's where you're going to best utilize Paradise Found. In terms of projection, it's projecting decently well off my arm. It's not going to be a beast of sillage by any means. I would say this is going to give you moderate projection. It's not voluminous. This doesn't fill the room when you spray it. It's going to tend to sit closer to the skin. Yeah, I'm really liking this. There aren't a ton of fragrances that are slightly green, that are slightly vegetal, slightly herbaceous, without actually going over that edge. A notable fragrance that does that really well is Boss Bottled Unlimited. It's very green, slightly herbal, little bit terpenic, but not as terpenic as this one. So if you enjoy Boss Bottled Unlimited, you're probably really gonna like Paradise Found, Roberto Cavalli. Well guys, that's it for my first impressions of Roberto Cavalli's Paradise Found. I think it's a really solid fragrance. I think it's going to perform moderately well. If you're interested in something that's going to be hyper versatile, that could be a signature scent for you, that you can also wear upscale environments as well as casual environments, it's going to be an all-weather fragrance, but primarily utilized in spring and summer, then Paradise Found might just be your next best offering. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out my video today. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.